Seneca, letter 108. Um, this, I'm trying not to say, I'm trying not to start every video with, this is a good letter, this is an interesting letter, but this is a good letter, it's an interesting letter. Uh, so this letter is largely about kind of, you might say it's the meta of philosophy, it's the meta philosophy of philosophy. It's about how philosophy should interact with your life. And it's very, very relatable. I think in more ways than a lot of people realize. Um, it starts out with it's it's almost seems to be unrelated, but it's not. It's just something that's kind of important. Is like in learning philosophy, and this is true of any kind of learning. Um, I my educational background is math, and this is very true of math. Uh, what is wanted is neither. So this is in terms of like how to learn things. Neither haphazard not dizzing, neither haphazard dipping nor a greedy onslaught on knowledge on the mass. And the reason why is because you'll get overwhelmed. The whole will be reached through its parts, and the burden must be adjusted to our strength. We mustn't take on more than we can manage. You shouldn't. So this is going to sound almost counterintuitive, but you shouldn't attempt to absorb all you want to, just what you've room for. Simply adopt the right approach, and you will soon end up with room for all you want. The more the mind takes in, the more it expands. So, whenever you're learning something new, especially if it's like a skill, like I'm a software developer now, and sometimes I'll have to learn an entirely new. Uh, Learning a language is easy usually, but learning a what's the word I'm looking for? A suite, a a software suite, uh, something that's got an API that I have to interact with. Learning how this system works, an entirely new system. All this, I can't think of the right word, but a new system that I have to work with, and I have to learn all the ins and outs of these systems, and it can be really, really overwhelming. And it's kind of tempting to just overwhelm myself with too much at a part where I thought, no, I need to hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. If you get that reference, I didn't come up with that. That's a YouTube reference. It's a hilarious guy. I can't think of his name now. But anyway, he went viral a little while back. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. It's really easy whenever you're reading something, especially. This is actually not even to. Let me finish what I say before I get sidetracked. It's easy to overwhelm yourself with too much information at a time when you really need to take it slowly with individual parts. Make sure you understand what the parts are. Make sure you understand what was ahead, what how it relates to what was ahead, if that's possible. In some contexts, you can't do that. That's actually even true of reading fiction, because I find that I have sometimes I have a hard time reading, and right now the reason why I'm really even reading this is because I've got the momentum of I want to read because I'm in the middle of the Harry Potter series, and that's so for the first time, and that's so like engaging that it like makes me want to read more. But if I'm reading something like Lord of the Rings, well, that can be more difficult to read because he spends so much time describing the trees that they walk by and things like that. Um, but anyway, I'm talking about how I kind of struggle to read sometimes, just because my mind wanders, and part of what helps. This is not the entire thing, but part of what helps is trying to think. Okay, just actively think to myself, what does this sentence say? How does it relate to the previous sentence? And I just really go through it very slowly to make sure I really do understand, as opposed to just reading an entire paragraph kind of mindlessly and think, I have no idea what that said. And then go to the next paragraph, and I still have no idea what it said. You don't get very far reading if you do that way. You don't get very far learning if you do that way. And oh my gosh, if you try to learn math that way, if you try to learn one section and you don't really understand the previous section, if you get a C in one section, you are going to get a D in the next section, because it's not going to. Because I mean, well, if it were taught correctly, that you would, but math is not taught well as a rule. Obviously, some exceptions to that. I had some excellent teachers. But anyway, the point that I'm making is that you want to try to not overwhelm yourself by going too quickly when you're learning. Don't try to get in too many things at once. That's part of why teachers say try not to cram, but sadly, that's not always realistic. Sometimes you do have to cram. Um, so I spent more time on that than I thought I would. I think I'm going to make this into two videos because I don't want this to be another 40-minute video. And also because it's kind of